A loving home isn't defined by numbers. Today I'm going to discuss with you why single parents should be allowed to adopt. First, I'm going to explain to you why every kid deserves to have a loving home. Then I'm going to explain to you why being raised by a single parent causes a kid to be more independent and being them more responsible. Lastly, I'm gonna explain to you why being raised by single parents stops the kid from seeing the parents fighting, discussing, and or not agreeing with each other. To begin, I'm gonna explain to you why every kid deserves a loving home. My question to you is, why not? Every human being deserves to be loved. Every human being deserves a home, a family, especially if they're a kid, a little being, a human being. Now that I already said that, having a loving home, a stable family, is good for the kids' well-being. And especially these kids who already spent some time in a foster home, they haven't experienced the warmth and haven't created these wonderful memories when you're actually being loved by someone, when you're actually being treated by someone, when you feel safe, and when you have a safe environment too, and when you have a home, a loving home. Those kids deserve the world, and someone who doesn't have a partner shouldn't stop them from adopting this little person into their life, because having a person, a mate, or someone individual in your life doesn't mean that he or this little person is gonna have a better education, is gonna be loved more. A single person can do that, and I promise you, this person will love this kid much more than two person actually raising this little being. Now that I already talked about why every kid deserves to be treated and actually be loved and have a loving home, I will now discuss how being raised by a single parent can create or have a huge impact in this person by them being more independent and being more responsible. Since these little kids grew up with this single parent, they have grown this sense of being independent, actually being responsible and doing the things because they know what their mom or their dad, their parent already went through to raise them, and how much loved they offer them, and the least, I think, the least they can do is to be responsible and show them how, in a way, how thankful you are for being raised and being loved this much is by being responsible. And honestly, since they're, like I said, since they already grew up with this person being independent, and showing them and teaching them without them teaching, they learn from them being also independent. Also, by them being raised by these parents, by single parents, they, when they're in a situation, they can find a simple way to resolve this problem, and they also can guide other people, and they can influence other people's lives by making this decision, which this decision obviously is going to be positive, because that's how they already learn how to handle certain situations and how to manage them. Now that I already talked about why every kid deserves to be treated and to be loved and have a loving home, I already also talked about how being raised by a single parent can influence this kid to be more independent and more responsible. I will now talk about how being raised by a single parent means that your child, your kid, will have to go through seeing you fighting and discussing with the significant other. By being raised by a single parent means your child won't have to or won't go through this trauma where most kids go through when they're being raised by two parents, since most of their parents tend to fight or they tend to not agree with each other. And since they're very at a short age, they don't understand exactly, but they can see these and feel these emotions, and these emotions can cause them to develop this anxiety or create this trauma, because every kid reacts differently and receives this information differently when it comes to fighting, because you don't know what they already went through.